Okay, so this is a demo of how to do a manual bullet graph rather than just using the function in Tableau. So as we've discussed, a bullet graph is really a comparison of two measures. It can be year-over-year sales, it could be actuals to budget. Whatever it is, we need two measures in order to do a bullet graph, and all we would have to do is select the measures and pop them in there, and we see that a bullet graph is created. And if we want to have multiple regions or multiple customer segments in here, we can create bullet graphs for all of them. Okay? However, what did Tableau actually do when it created that bullet graph? In fact, what it did is it created a simple chart, simple bar graph, and then it added reference lines and shading. So let's look at how we actually would do that if we were going to create this same bullet graph manually. We would do the same thing, that we would actually grab our 2013 sales and we would set up our regions and our customer segments in the same manner that we would do before. And let me exclude this. However, now we need to actually do the comparison. To do the comparison, we're going to take the 2012 sales, drop it onto the detail, and nothing happens. And that's because right now all we've done by dropping it in the detail is making it available to be used on the graph. What I'm going to do now, if I can get it to actually highlight, is I'm going to add a reference line, band, or box. And if we recall, if we look at the bullet graph over here, there's two reference lines. The first reference line is the black line, which is the actual 2012 sales. And then the shading, which is the percentile 60 and 80% of the sales. So now what I'm going to do is come over here, and I'll first add the line. So to add the line, I'm going to right click, choose add a reference line. I'm going to choose a line, and I'm going to do it per cell because I want there to be one for each one of these cells rather than one for the whole pane or for the whole table. And then instead of using a value from 2013 sales, I'm going to use it from 2012 sales. I don't want a label. I want my line to be a little thicker, and I want it to be black. Let's see how that looks. So that pretty much created the same view of the sales, the same view of the reference line as in the other one. So that part's done. And now what we're going to do is just create another reference line, band, or box. And our choices here, again, are line, band, distribution, and box plot. On this one, we're going to use distribution. And by default, it kind of uses, for a bullet bar chart, the 60 and 80th percentages. But you could also use really any kind of reference that you want for this. And again, we're going to use some of 2012 sales. We're going to hit apply. And you see that the shading is added in there. But what we really want to do is fill below and maybe give it a little bit more fun coloring, although red, yellow, green might be a problem. Oh, I've done something wrong. Oh, I know why. It's because it should be per cell. No label. Average, apply. There we go. Now we got what we want. Okay. So now the green line is the 80th percentile or percentage. The red is up to 60% of the black line. And I can make this whole thing a little bit bigger. Let's just do fill the entire view so it looks a little bit more, you can see it a little bit more closely. Okay. So now we see what we did is we basically put a line here. We put the green for 60 to 80%, the red here. And again, you can do a lot more formatting with that. And there's nothing to say that this is somehow better than what Tableau did automatically. It's just that we have a little bit more control. And if we look here, the one that it created manually, you can always go and edit those things and change them and make them a little bit different however you want, even if you start that bullet graph by using the Show Me feature.